Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be painting an Animal Crossing themed slot machine. Now, does this video have any actual purpose? No, it does not. But with the state of the world right now, anything crafty that I want to do, I have to use what I have at home, and I've actually been coming up with a lot of ideas that I wouldn't normally try because I'm just limited in what I have. So the other day I found these wooden rectangles that I bought with a different project in mind, and I don't think I'll be getting to it for quite a while, so I decided instead that I would try painting them. Initially, I had no idea what I was going to do, so I went through my Pinterest for some kind of inspiration. I came across a picture of a cute slot machine and decided to go with that, so I just started sketching the idea and to see what kind of proportions I wanted for the size of the rectangle. Once I had the shape roughly down, I was trying to decide what kind of colors and images I wanted to use. I originally thought I would just make it something really cute and pink because that's just the stuff that I like, but then I thought that I could do it themed. Thinking maybe Mario themed because I would have a lot of objects to choose from, or maybe Yoshi themed and then I could use just different colored eggs. But then I thought, why not do Animal Crossing? Probably because I've been playing it a lot since New Horizon came out. And that's the idea that stuck, so I spent the next little while just planning out what objects I would use for the pictures. If this was the jackpot, I wanted to have a bunch of coins pouring out, but I really didn't want to go to the trouble of drawing and painting them all. But then I realized if there was actually a casino in the Animal Crossing universe, it would most likely be run by Tom Nook. And do you see Tom Nook giving away a lot of money? No. So I thought it'd be funny to win the jackpot and then there'd just be 1 or 2 coins for your prize. But honestly, this was just justification that I really didn't want to draw a whole bunch of coins. Then I realized it really should have a logo, and so Nooksino was born. Next, I sanded it down, rounding the corners just because I wanted to soften the shape a little bit before I started painting. Here, I also picked out the colors that I was going to use, deciding on the colors of the Animal Crossing theme Switch that was released, and kind of a peachy orange because I needed another color. I also thought of doing a light yellow instead of the orange, but because the winning line is going to be on white, I think that's what it's called. I actually had to look up the anatomy of a slot machine because I have no idea what anything's called, but because the background of the objects are going to be white, I thought yellow would be too close a color. And then I began to paint. I also used a hairdryer to speed up the drying time, moving my palette a bit out of the way so not to dry out the paints. For the sake of time, I'm not showing it, but I did 2 to 3 coats for most all the colors just to make sure that they're saturated. I liked the proportions in my sketch, so I used that as reference for the measurements as well as using a ruler just to make sure all the lines are nice and even and straight. Here, I just decided that the dark green was too dark and I wanted to lighten it up a bit. And again, I decided the orange was a little too dark and mixed some more white in and did a couple of coats of the color before drawing on the slots, or strips, or picture boxes. I didn't want just a stark white for the background, so I mixed a tiny bit of yellow in to make it more of a cream or an off-white color. Then, once all the color was actually down, I began to work on the outlines. This is the point where I start doing more detailed work and my head kind of slowly creeps into the shot every now and then. I tried to edit most of it out, but you'll see some blurry hair every so often, so sorry. Alright, and then I begin to work on all the little detailed items. Now, I feel like it needs to be pointed out because I just mixed way too much paint for what's essentially going to be 3 tiny little dots, but this was the color that I kind of struggled the most with. I didn't know exactly the shade I wanted, and so I just kept mixing and mixing until I was happy with it, but I have a lot of paint here. I was hoping that with the pitfall seed it would stand out a bit more because I did make the background kind of an off-white, but it wasn't super noticeable. Later on I add a little bit of a gray outline and that makes it stand out more in person, but still not really on camera. Once done, I added some little details. This was honestly just me procrastinating painting the coins because everything had gone surprisingly smoothly, and I was worried that my luck would run out and I was going to mess them up, but I decided I just need to get it over with. Finally, I needed to do the lettering at the top. Now, lettering isn't my strong suit, so I was more nervous about this than I was the coins. I wrote it out on paper roughly how I wanted it to look beforehand, and then I just slowly worked trying to match that on the actual piece itself. I had my head in the way for pretty much the entire painting of the leaf, so sorry about that, but I did decide that I wanted it to stand out a bit more, and I went over it with a lighter color. At this point, I was pretty much finished, but I felt the little pictures and coins had a lot more dimension to them than the rest of the painting, so I tried adding a little bit of shadowing here and there, but I finally decided I liked it enough and I didn't want to mess with it, so I just left it as is. And so here's the finished product. This video didn't really have a purpose, but I hope you enjoyed it. While looking up inspiration, I got a couple other ideas for these little wooden rectangles, so I might do a couple more in the future. I hope you all are doing well, that you have a great day, and maybe I'll see you next video. Bye!